Meditation is found in Luke's Gospel 23:43. And Jesus said to him, "Assuredly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." What great words. But it seems to me, as Protestants, as those that protest everything in our beginnings, that we sometimes have taken this verse maybe at too much face value. For there is depth there if we want to look. But I want to return to that. See, because in our protesting, our founders have kind of thrown out the rich heritage that strengthens our understanding of our faith. In all four of the Gospels, there is a recount among the fact that Jesus was crucified with two others. In two of the Gospels, it just says that he was crucified with two robbers. And in the other Gospel, it just says with two others. None of them go into even this level. And none of them name who they were. Well, I'm kind of curious. Who are these people? Put some face to them. Make them real. And so I got to do some of that exploratory look today. And I went in to both the Roman structure and to the Orthodox structure. And I wanted to find out, these people had to be for real. And I found out that they had names. Commonly, most of us have heard of Dismas, Saint Dismas. Saint. What's interesting, if you really go to study Saint Dismas, who was one of these people who was called the good thief, that's an oxymoron, good and thief. Nowhere could I find when he was made a saint. It was done before the great schism of the church in 1054. That we know, both Orthodox and Roman recognize him. But who is this other man? We find some structure about him. We find that it was Gestas, G-E-S-T-A-S. He was a man. But what's really interesting is these two knew each other before their crucifixion. By church lore, they both had encountered Jesus before. When he was a child and Joseph and Mary were hightailing it to Egypt for safety, they were among a group that tried to rob them in the desert. So the story goes. And it was Dismas that paid the others money to leave them alone. That gives some weight to them. It is said that perhaps even Dismas was baptized at one point, but his baptism didn't work. His encounter with Jesus didn't work. Obviously, that day they were being crucified for a reason. Daily, we have to make a decision. Crucifixion here was physical and harmful. And they didn't worry about being politically correct. It was meant to be shameful. It says that Jesus was marred more than any other man. We've heard a description of that already today. These guys weren't treated nicely either. Yes, they were nailed to the cross. Hanging in a cross was meant to suffocate you. It said in the end, because of the Jewish holiday, they went and broke their legs. Why did they break their legs? To stop them from holding themselves up so they could suffocate and die more quickly. And we have an example of what happens to us each day when we have to make a decision for Christ. One, ridicule Christ. If you be the king of the Jews, get yourself off the cross. And by the way, take us down too. Very self-centered. But Dismas said, hold on. Remember me this day when you enter to your paradise. He didn't make a plea for himself. He recognized his own sin. He came to grips with who he was and what he had done, that he was being treated fairly for his crime. And he recognized Christ for who he was. The lamb led to slaughter. Both men were suffering the same gruesome public execution that Jesus was. According to the myth found in the Arabic Gospel of Infancy that was enjoyed in the Middle Ages, these men came back together at the time of their death, having once encountered the living Christ as a baby. It is even said in some of the texts that even then, because Christ was a young boy at the time, Christ was not baby in swaddling clothes. He was 3 or 4 in this Exodus. He prophesied over the end that they would be crucified with him. Now this is just unsubstantiated myth. But there was an encounter. There was a re-encounter. Saints of God, Christ encounters us today. He encountered us when we were in our youth. Some of you are worried about your family members. Christ encountered them. He will encounter them again. Be not afraid. Pray for them. I'm a prodigal son because my mother kept praying for me. Y'all all heard the story that Mom asked one day why I wasn't a Baptist pastor or a member of a Baptist church. And I told her it was her fault because she didn't pray specific enough. She just prayed for her to come back to Christ. So I told her it was her fault. She didn't pray specific. Christ will never give up on us. But we give up on ourselves. And when we do that, we give up on Him. And we put ourselves out of His reach. Dismas, who had been out of His reach, put himself back within His reach. He became aware of his own personal sin. And he repented. And he accepted the presence of Christ. And the salvation was granted to him. Today, you will be with me in paradise. Now, the legalist of church says, oh, but he wasn't baptized, so he can't forget that. He was baptized in the blood. See, yes, it does say, repent and be baptized. But Christ is Christ of mercy. I've heard it argued he was baptized in the blood of tears. Blood. I've heard he was baptized in tears. I've heard he was baptized in rain. No, Christ said today, you will be with me in paradise. I've been at the deathbed when someone said, Father, will Christ accept me? And I said, if the word says you confess him before man, he will confess you before the Father. My question to you today, do you confess Christ before man? Or is it too convenient to let the dirty jokes be said, or to let the off saying be said, and not to confess Christ because you might be ridiculed? Is it too convenient to walk out of a situation instead of to say, Christ is my Lord and Master? I will go this far and no further. Saints, we need to be billboards for Christ. Not just in word, but in deeds. Are we prepared to pay the cost that Christ paid for us?